Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. Humanity's secret weapon: warships that defy physics itself. The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a gleaming silver mountain. News stations across the planet showed nothing else. People stood in the streets, watched from rooftops, and gathered in homes. All eyes turned skyward. After centuries of wondering, humanity finally had its answer: we were not alone. Admiral James Wilson straightened his navy blue uniform as the transport shuttle approached the alien vessel. Through the viewport, he could see the ship's true size. It dwarfed anything humans had ever built. His 5-person team sat silently, each lost in their own thoughts about what waited inside. 2 minutes to docking, the pilot announced. Wilson nodded and looked at Dr. Elisa Reed, Earth's leading physicist. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today," he said. Reed's dark eyes met his. "No pressure then," she said with a small smile. The shuttle slowed as it approached a glowing blue opening in the silver hull. With a soft bump and a hiss of air, they docked. "Welcome to the Galactic Council diplomatic vessel," came a voice in perfect English. "Please proceed through the airlock." The team exchanged glances. The aliens had already learned their language. The meeting chamber was huge, with a circular table surrounded by 12 seats. 7 were filled with beings so different from each other that Wilson had to force himself not to stare. Some looked almost human, others like nothing he could have imagined. A tall, blue-skinned being stood. "I am High Counselor Mororo of the Galactic Council. We welcome Earth to the greater community of spacefaring civilizations." For 4 hours, the Council explained their organization, formed 50,000 years ago. The Council governed trade, territory, and technology sharing between 217 species across the galaxy. They had been watching Earth for centuries, waiting until humans developed faster-than-light travel before making contact. "You have joined us at an interesting time," said Mororo. "Your species shows great promise." Wilson noticed the way some council members exchanged looks. Something felt off. "We would like to offer Earth Protectorate status," continued Mororo. "This means we will guide your development and protect you from threats until you are ready for full membership." "And what does Protectorate status mean for our independence?" asked Wilson. A reptilian being with golden scales leaned forward. "It means certain restrictions on expansion and military development, for your own safety, of course." This was Counselor Tarn of the Vex. His voice was cold and clinical. "We need time to consider this offer," Wilson replied. "Of course," said Mororo. "You have much to learn about galactic politics." Back on the shuttle, Reed was unusually quiet. "What's bothering you, Doctor?" Wilson asked once they were alone. Reed looked up from her data pad. "Did you notice how advanced their ships are? The energy readings I took secretly," she showed him the screen. "They're using something like dark matter for power. It's centuries beyond what we have, or what they think we have," Wilson said thoughtfully. 3 months passed. Earth's governments formed a united front to deal with the Council. Wilson became Earth's official representative, traveling regularly to Council space. With each visit, he learned more, and liked what he learned less. "They see us as children," he told Reed during a secure meeting at the underwater research facility in the Pacific. "Bright, promising children, but children nonetheless." Reed nodded. "And some of them see us as potential threats. I've been analyzing the technology they shared. It's advanced but selectively so. They're holding back the important stuff." Wilson paced the small room. "I overheard 2 junior council members talking. They don't realize how good our translation technology has become. They mentioned something called the containment protocol." "What's that?" asked Reed. "A system for keeping younger species from developing too quickly. They're afraid of us." Elisa Reed was quiet for a moment. "They should be," she finally said. "Show me what you've learned about their ships." 1 year after first contact, Earth accepted protectorate status. The public celebration masked private concerns among Earth's leadership. The Council had placed strict limits on human expansion beyond the solar system, citing safety concerns. Wilson stood at the window of his office in the newly built Council embassy in Geneva. A VX cruiser patrolled Earth's orbit for protection. His secure phone buzzed. It was Reed. "We've had a breakthrough," she said without greeting. "Project Dark Star. I need you at the moon base tomorrow." The hidden facility beneath the lunar surface was Earth's most secret location. As Wilson entered the main lab, Reed waved him over to a glowing containment chamber. "This is it," she said, her face lit by the swirling black-purple energy inside the chamber. "Pure dark matter, captured and contained. The Council uses a crude version for power, but we've discovered something they haven't." Wilson looked at the strange substance. "What's that?" "It doesn't just generate power, it can fold spacetime." Another scientist approached. "Dr. Reed, the simulation is ready." On a large screen, they watched as a computer model showed a ship vanishing from one point in space and instantly appearing at another. "No warp drive, no hyperspace, just folding space like paper," Reed explained. "And there's more, the energy signature is nearly undetectable. A ship using this technology would be invisible to Council sensors." Wilson stared at the simulation, his mind racing. How long until we could build a working prototype? 3 years, maybe 2 with additional funding, Wilson nodded slowly. "You'll have it. The Council has underestimated us, Doctor. They think we're just learning to walk, but we're about to learn how to fly." He turned to face her. "Keep this absolutely secret. Tell no one outside this facility." "What are you planning?" Admiral Wilson looked back at the swirling dark matter. "The Council wants to keep us contained, controlled. They've seen what humans have done on Earth, our wars, our mistakes. They're afraid we'll bring chaos to their ordered galaxy." He straightened his shoulders. "Maybe they're right to be afraid. Start building ships, Doctor, small ones at first. Then we won't tell them," Reed said firmly. "Earth needs this advantage. The day will come when the Council realizes we won't stay in our corner of the galaxy. When that day comes, we need to be ready." As he left the moon base, Wilson looked up at the stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with ancient civilizations and wonders beyond imagination. Humanity deserved its place among them, not as children, but as equals. The Council had made first contact expecting to find another species to guide and control. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. 10 years passed since first contact. On the surface, Earth embraced its role in the Galactic Council. Alien technology improved human lives, trade brought new foods and medicines, Council ships became a common sight in Earth's skies. But deep beneath the lunar surface, hidden from Council sensors, humanity worked in secret. Admiral Wilson, now with gray at his temples, stood before a massive viewport. Beyond the radiation-shielded glass lay the largest hidden shipyard in the solar system, carved into an asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. "Project Umbra is ahead of schedule," reported Dr. Reed, walking up beside him. The years had been kind to her, though fine lines marked the corners of her eyes, signs of a decade of secret work. Wilson nodded. "Show me." They walked through security doors to the main construction bay, suspended in the center, surrounded by construction drones. Hung was a sleek black vessel unlike any in Earth's public fleet. No external lights marked its surface, its hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. "The Phantom," Reed said with pride. "Our first true dark matter warship." "How many people know about this facility?" asked Wilson. 200 engineers and scientists, 50 security personnel, the Earth Union Defense Council. No one else. Wilson approached a control panel and pressed his palm against it. The 3D hologram appeared, showing the ship's internal systems and the dark matter core. He asked, and Reed pointed to a swirling purple-black sphere at the center of the hologram. Stable and twice as powerful as our simulations predicted. The ship can fold spacetime in microsecond suns. It can jump from Earth to Mars instantly with no detectable energy signature. And weapons, gravitic beams. They don't fire energy, they manipulate gravity itself. They can tear a Council cruiser apart from the inside with no visible attack. Wilson's eyes narrowed. Perfect. On Council Station Prime, the largest space structure ever built, Krell adjusted his breathing apparatus. As a water-breathing Merjin, he found the dry air of the station uncomfortable, but his job as head of Council security meant discomfort was part of the work. Ambassador Wilson will see you now, said the human assistant. Krell entered the human's office, and Wilson stood to greet him, showing respect for Krell's higher rank. Counselor Krell, this is unexpected. Krell's large eyes blinked slowly. I apologize for the intrusion, Ambassador. I have concerns. Please, sit. Wilson gestured to a chair designed for immersion anatomy. Krell settled his long body. Our monitoring systems have detected anomalies in your solar system. Energy fluctuations that match no known pattern. Wilson's face remained calm. Our sun has been particularly active this cycle, perhaps that's the cause. Perhaps, Krell paused. Yet these fluctuations occur most often near your asteroid belt, not your sun. We have mining operations throughout the belt. The new fusion droids might explain the readings. Krell studied the human. After 10 years of interaction with the species, he'd learned to read their expressions. Wilson, there are whispers, Ambassador. Some on the Council fear humanity is developing beyond the approved technological paths. Wilson smiled. The Council has been very generous with sharing technology. We're grateful students. Are you? Krell leaned forward. I studied your species' history. Wilson, humans don't remain students for long. Captain Mike Foster felt sweat trickle down his back as the Phantom prepared for its first real test. Training simulations were one thing, actually folding space was another. Dark matter core at full capacity, reported his navigator, Lieutenant Annabelle. All systems green, added Weapons Officer Tom Grant. Foster took a deep breath. Execute jump. The ship hummed. The view screen showed stars around them, then blackness for a split second, then different stars. Jump complete, Bell said, her voice steady despite the historic moment. Where exactly at the target coordinates? 600 million kilometers in an instant, Foster allowed himself a smile. Any sign we were detected? Grant checked his instruments. None. Council patrol vessels in the area show no change in course or alert status. Let's see what this ship can really do, Foster said. Set course for the outer edge of Neptune's orbit. We're going to push the engines. For 6 hours they tested the Phantom's capabilities. It could jump accurately to any point in the solar system. Its gravitic sensors could detect ships on the other side of the sun, and most importantly, it remained completely invisible to Council technology. As they returned to the hidden shipyard, Foster knew this changed everything. Humanity is no longer at the Council's mercy. We need more time, Reed argued in the secure conference room beneath Geneva. Earth's leaders had gathered to hear reports on Project Umbra. The Council grows more suspicious. Countered Defense Minister Garcia, Krell's visit to Wilson wasn't coincidence. Wilson cleared his throat. The Phantom's test was successful. We know the technology works, but one ship isn't enough. How many do we need? Asked the Earth Union president. Reed displayed a hologram showing ship designs. We've begun construction on 5 more vessels like the Phantom, but we've also designed larger warships capable of carrying multiple jump drives. She pointed to a massive black ship. This is the Eclipse. It could face an entire Council fleet. And how long until the Eclipse is ready? Asked the president. 8 months, if we accelerate production. Wilson stood. The Council limitation treaties expire in 10 months. They'll want to renew them with even stricter terms. I say we wait, build our fleet in secret, and then negotiate from a position of strength. The president nodded slowly. Build your ships, Admiral, but maintain absolute secrecy. Counselor Tarn reviewed Krell's report with growing anger. The reptilian Vex has never trusted humans, too unpredictable, too adaptable. These energy readings, he hissed to his aide, matched theoretical patterns for advanced dark matter manipulation. Impossible, the aide replied. Humans are centuries from such technology, unless they're receiving help. Tarn's golden eyes narrowed. Increased surveillance on Earth. Place tracking devices on all trade vessels. I want to know what they're hiding. Back in the asteroid shipyard, Foster watched as construction drones swarmed over the hull of a new dark matter ship. Captain Reed, called a voice as she entered the observation deck, tomorrow we begin crew training for the other Phantom-class vessels. Foster nodded. My pilots are ready, but are we preparing for defense or attack? Reed studied the growing fleet below. Both, Captain, the Council won't give up control easily, but we don't seek war, just equality. And if they don't offer equality, she turned to him, her expression hard, then we take it. Beyond them, in the darkness of the asteroid hangar, the black holes of humanity's secret fleet absorbed all light, waiting for the moment they would emerge from shadow and change the galaxy forever. The Grand Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Wilson finished speaking. His proposal for expanded human settlement rights hung in the air like a challenge. Ambitious, remarked High Counselor Mororo after a long pause. Perhaps too ambitious for a species still under protectorate status. Wilson kept his face neutral. Earth's population has grown. Our people need room to expand. Counselor Tarn stood, his golden scales catching the light. The Vex Dominion opposes any expansion of human territory, he stated, his cold eyes fixed on Wilson. In fact, we believe current restrictions should be tightened. Whispers spread through the chamber. Wilson noticed several council members nodding in agreement with Tarn. The treaties expire in 2 months, Wilson reminded them. Earth expects a more equitable arrangement in the new agreements. Tarn's voice was dangerous. You are not in a position to make demands, Ambassador. As Wilson left the chamber, Krell approached him. The Mersian security chief looked troubled. That was unwise, Krell said softly. Tarn has been gathering support against Earth. Wilson slowed his pace. What do you mean? There are rumors of illegal technology development in your system. Tarn has convinced many that humans are becoming a security threat. Rumors without evidence. Wilson replied calmly. Krell's large eyes blinked slowly. An inspection team is being formed. They will visit Earth next week. Wilson's heart raced, but his expression remained unchanged. We have nothing to hide. They're sending inspectors, he told the emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council. They'll arrive in 6 days. President Harris removed her glasses. Can they detect the shipyards? Dr. Reed shook her head. The asteroid bases are shielded against all known Council scanning technology, but a physical inspection would discover them. Then we make sure they don't inspect those areas, said Defense Minister Garcia. We guide them to approved facilities only. Wilson paced the room. This is just the beginning. Tarn is building a case against us. I believe he's planning military action. Our fleet isn't ready. Reed said, we have 6 Phantom-class ships operational. The Eclipse is at 80% completion. Captain Foster, recently promoted to Admiral of Earth's Secret Fleet, spoke up. The Phantom Squadron is combat-ready. We can defend Earth if needed. President Harris looked around the table. Options: we reveal our fleet, suggested Garcia, show strength and force negotiation. That would confirm their fears and justify immediate action against us, countered Wilson. Reed tapped her data pad. What if we move the fleet, hide it deeper in the solar system until the inspection is over? Foster nodded. Neptune's rings could mask our energy signatures. Do it, ordered the president. And accelerate work on the eclipse. I want our flagship ready. The council inspection team spent 2 weeks examining Earth's facilities. They visited lunar bases, Mars colonies, and orbital stations. Wilson personally guided them, showing only what Earth wanted them to see. On the final day, the head inspector, a tall insect-like being named FX, delivered their preliminary findings. We found no evidence of prohibited technology, Vrex stated. However, there are unexplained energy readings throughout your system. Our sun has been unusually active, Wilson explained, repeating the cover story. Vrex's antenna twitched. Perhaps our final report will be delivered to the council next week. As the inspection ship departed, Wilson contacted Foster. Status: fleet safely hidden in Neptune's atmosphere. No detection, maintain position until further notice. 1 week later, the council reconvened. Wilson took his seat just as Tarn entered with a delegation of military advisors. High Counselor Mororo opened the session. The inspection report shows no direct evidence of prohibited technology. However, questions remain about energy anomalies in the human system. Tarn stood immediately. The inspectors were deliberately misled. My intelligence sources confirm humans are developing advanced dark matter technology. Gasps filled the chamber. Dark matter manipulation was permitted only for species with full council membership. These accusations have no proof, Wilson stated firmly. Tarn's eyes narrowed to slits. The Vex Dominion has intercepted communications between your hidden facilities. We know of your warship program. Wilson felt a cold dread. Had they been discovered? In light of this threat, Tarn continued, I propose immediate action. Earth must submit to full council control of all military and research facilities. Mororo raised a hand. That is a serious step, Counselor, one necessary for galactic security. Tarn insisted, I have prepared a formal ultimatum. A holographic document appeared before each council member. Wilson read it with growing anger. The demands would effectively end Earth's independence. Earth rejects these terms, Wilson said, rising to his feet. Then the council must act. Tarn replied, I move that we authorize military intervention. The chamber erupted in debate. Wilson used the distraction to send an encrypted message to Earth. MDI, vid, prepare QOMTINGN sys, the message read. Dr. Reed stared at the message on her screen. It's happening, she told Foster. The Admiral nodded grimly. Orders, maintain position but move to alert status. Be ready to deploy on my command. In the main laboratory beneath Lunar Base Alpha, Reed approached the secure communication terminal. The time had come for a difficult decision. Wilson stood alone in his council quarters, watching the stars through his viewport. His secure communicator chimed. Wilson, it's Reed. The council voted, they're still debating, but Tarn has significant support. Our intelligence indicates a Vex battle fleet is already moving towards Sol. Size, 20 capital ships, dozens of support vessels. There was a long pause. The eclipse is ready, Reed finally said. Wilson closed his eyes. You finished it. Final systems came online yesterday. It's the most powerful ship humans have ever built. What about the true beat? Reed asked. Still theoretical. We need more time, Wilson made his decision. Recall Foster's fleet from Neptune. Position the eclipse at the edge of the solar system. If the Vex fleet enters our territory, we show them what we've built. That will start a war. Reed warned, no. Wilson said firmly, it will prevent one. The council needs to see we won't be conquered or controlled. Foster stood on the bridge of the Phantom, watching Neptune's swirling clouds through the viewscreen. His squadron of 6 advanced ships had been hiding here for weeks. Admiral, his communications officer called, priority message from command. Foster read the orders: alert all ships, prepare to jump to the Sol system border. As the crew readied the dark matter drives, Foster opened a channel to the Eclipse. On his screen appeared Captain Lisa West, commander of humanity's flagship. "You've received the orders?" Foster asked West. She nodded. Her ship was hidden in the rings of Saturn. "The Eclipse is ready. What do you think will happen when the Council sees our fleet?" Foster asked. He checked the latest intelligence reports. The Vex fleet is 2 days from Earth, either the beginning of a new era of respect for humanity, or the start of a war. And if it's war? Foster thought of the weapons systems Reed had installed on their ships, technologies the Council had never seen before. Then they'll learn why picking a fight with humans was a mistake. The dark matter drives powered up, creating their distinctive purple glow. Foster gave the order, "Jump." In an instant, the ships vanished from Neptune's clouds, ready to meet the approaching threat and change the course of galactic history. The Vex battle fleet moved through space in perfect formation, 20 massive warships, each nearly a mile long, surrounded by smaller attack vessels. Their hulls gleamed with a golden-green metallic shine that had become feared throughout the galaxy. On the command deck of the flagship, War Commander Shen watched the holographic display of the Sol system growing larger. "Earth is just hours away," he noted. "Status report," Shen ordered, his scaled hand tapping against the arm of his command chair. "All ships at battle readiness." His second-in-command reported, "Human defenses show only standard orbital platforms. Their fleet consists of outdated cruisers and frigates." Shen's forked tongue flicked out briefly, a sign of satisfaction among the Vex. "Pathetic," he muttered. Counselor Tarn was right to worry about their ambition, but wrong about their capabilities. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Earth." "Ignore it," Shen said dismissively. "They will beg for mercy or threaten us with their tiny ships. Neither is worth my time." The fleet continued forward, passing the orbit of Mars. "Sir," the sensor officer called suddenly, "I'm detecting an energy spike near the system edge." Shen leaned forward. "Source, unknown." It appeared and then vanished. The war commander frowned, "A sensor malfunction, perhaps." Before the officer could answer, alerts blared across the command deck. Multiple contacts shouted, They're everywhere." The holographic display showed 7 black ships appearing and disappearing around the Vex fleet. They blinked into existence, moved, positioned, and vanished again, seemingly at random. "Impossible," whispered Shen. "No ship can move that fast." Admiral Foster sat calmly in the command chair of the Phantom. Around him, his crew operated with focused precision. "Jump complete," reported Lieutenant Bell. "We're 50 kilometers off the Vex flagship's port side." "Hold position for 10 seconds, Foster ordered. "Let them get a good look at us." The Phantom hung in space, its black hole absorbing light rather than reflecting it. The ship looked like a hole in reality itself. "Counting down," Mark read, "ready for next jump." Foster nodded. "Execute pattern Alpha. All ships, coordinate jumps across the void." The 6 other Phantom-class vessels and the massive Eclipse carried out the same maneuver. They appeared around the Vex fleet, held position just long enough to be detected, then vanished again only to reappear elsewhere. It was a carefully choreographed dance meant to demonstrate their capabilities without firing a single shot. On Council Station Prime, an emergency session had been called as soon as the Vex fleet reported contact with unknown vessels. The chamber's main display showed the bewildering scene, black ships appearing and disappearing throughout the Vex formation. "What are we seeing?" demanded High Counselor Maroro. Ambassador Wilson stood calmly before the Council. "You are witnessing humanity's response to threats against our sovereignty. Those ships," Krell said, his voice filled with disbelief, "are using dark matter drives to fold spacetime." "Impossible." Tarn hissed, "Such technology is beyond humans." Wilson smiled thinly. "Perhaps you've underestimated us." War Commander Shen had never felt fear in battle before, but watching these black ships appear and disappear at will around his fleet, he felt the cold grip of uncertainty. "Target the nearest vessel and fire," he ordered. Energy weapons lanced out from 3 Vex destroyers, striking empty space where a human ship had been just seconds before. "They're too fast," his weapons officer reported. "We can't lock on, sir," called the communications officer. "We're receiving a targeted transmission from one of the vessels. It identifies itself as Earth Ship Eclipse.